What if I told you that the number one thing we all think predicts a child's success in school? Well, what if I told you it isn't actually the number one thing at all?
Okay, let's just dive right into this. We all have an answer that kind of pops into our heads, right? Is it how much money a family has? Is it having parents with PhDs? Maybe a house just overflowing with books? For decades, the common wisdom has pointed in one clear direction. But is that story really the whole truth?
To get to the bottom of this, we're not just going to guess. We're actually opening up a case file from a fascinating investigation, a 2014 study that set out to crack this very code. Our evidence today comes from this really deep dive into the lives of over 2,000 ninth grade students. This took place in the Republic of Tatarstan, which is a highly developed region in Russia. Researchers there wanted to isolate the factors that truly, moved the needle on academic achievement. And right away, the investigation zeroed in on the prime suspect, the one that's always at the top of the list. Academics call it family resources, which is basically just a catch-all term for the combined power of all the advantages a family can provide its children. And the profile they built for this suspect was incredibly detailed. I mean, researchers looked at everything you'd expect. They looked at parental income, their education, their jobs, but also things like the number of books at home and even how much time parents spent helping out with homework. They built a really complete picture of a child's home advantage. So, with such a strong suspect, everyone pretty much expected this to be an open and shut case. But this is where our investigation takes a sharp, unexpected turn. The data revealed a very, very puzzling clue. 13%. That's the number. Just let that sink in for a moment. All of that home advantage we just talked about, it all amounted to just 13%. So this is the crucial point. All those powerful factors we just listed, the income, the parents' degrees, the books, the parental help, all of it together could only explain 13% of the difference in student success. The other massive 87%, that was determined by completely different things. Our prime suspect had a very weak alibi. And the study's own conclusion was just as blunt. The researchers confirmed it. In Tatarstan, much like in other developed nations, the influence of a family's background on school success is surprisingly low. The usual suspect was not the mastermind after all. So if family resources aren't the main driver, what is? Okay, let's get to the big reveal. The investigation found that success wasn't the work of one single factor, but a whole crew of powerful accomplices. And first up on our list of accomplices is a really powerful personality trait, grit. Now, in the study, this was defined as a student's own perseverance and passion for achieving their long-term goals. And this wasn't just some vague idea either. It was actually measured by asking students how much they agreed with statements like, "I am a hard worker," and "I finish whatever I begin." And those who saw themselves this way, the ones with that inner drive, they consistently achieved more, no matter what their family background looked like. The investigation also uncovered some pretty clear demographic patterns. For instance, girls consistently performed better academically than boys. And, interestingly, in this specific region, native Tatar speakers had higher achievements than their Russian-speaking peers. So, what about your social circle? Turns out, it's a huge factor. The study found that students whose friends planned to continue their studies also had significantly better outcomes themselves. Being in a peer group with high aspirations, well, it provided a powerful positive influence. It really shows that who you surround yourself with truly matters. And the list of accomplices just kept on growing. The quality of the school a student went to, their physical health, and even having clear career ambitions, like wanting a well-paid job, all proved to be significant factors in their success right now. Okay, so we've examined all the evidence, we've identified the real drivers of success, and we've debunked the myth of the usual suspect. But what's the final verdict from this investigation? And why does any of this matter to us? So here's the verdict. First, and this is the most powerful one, your family background is an ingredient, sure, but it is not your destiny. Second, personal traits, things like grit, are incredibly strong predictors of success. And third, your environment outside the home, your friends, your school, your health, it all plays a vital role. The bottom line is that success is this complex recipe, and your family's resources are just one ingredient among many. And this brings us to our final thought. You know, the biggest insight from this whole explainer is really a message of empowerment. It shows that while we can't choose the circumstances we're born into, many of the most powerful predictors of our success are things we can influence: our mindset, our friendships, our goals. So the real question this investigation leaves us with is this: if your background doesn't define your future, what will you decide to do with it?